What if I told you that just 1 hour a day could completely rewrite your future? Not hustle culture, not grinding 24/7, just 60 minutes. And no, this isn't some modern self-help fluff. This is the same method used by the greatest minds in history. But here's the catch. Most people waste this hour without even realizing it. Think about your average day. How much of it slips away in distractions, in things that don't move you forward? Now imagine taking back just 1 hour, not for work, not for others, but for the one thing that changes everything, you. This isn't about motivation. It's about a system, a law of success so simple, yet so ignored, that mastering it puts you ahead of 99% of people. Let's break it down. The hidden power of the golden hour. Most people wake up and immediately give their minds away. They reach for their phones, turn on the news, or let the chatter of the world flood in before they've even had a single thought of their own. And just like that, without realizing it, they've lost. Because the first hour of your day isn't just time. It's the foundation of everything that follows. Think about it. The moment you open your eyes, your mind is fresh, untouched. A blank slate. What you do in that first hour determines whether the next 23 will work for you or against you. Most people waste it. They let outside noise set the tone instead of taking control. But not the ones who achieve greatness. The ones who leave a mark on the world don't stumble into success. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They command their days, and it starts with this single sacred hour. This isn't about checking messages or rushing into tasks. This is about ownership. Before the world gets its hands on you, before obligations and distractions start pulling you in every direction, you have a choice. You can let the day happen to you, or you can shape it. The difference between those two paths, one leads to mastery, the other leads to mediocrity. The greatest minds in history didn't leave this to chance. They didn't wake up and hope for the best. They designed their mornings. They treated this hour like a ritual because they understood something most never will. What you do in this hour doesn't just affect your day, it shapes your life. Imagine two people. One wakes up and immediately dives into the chaos of the world. The other wakes up and spends the first hour in silence, feeding their mind with purpose, setting a clear direction. Who do you think will make better decisions? Who do you think will stay focused when distractions come? Who do you think will build the life they want, not by accident, but by design? This hour is your leverage. It's the one thing no one can take from you unless you let them. Guard it, because once it's gone, you don't get it back. 2. The morning mind ritual. No exceptions. Here's a truth most people refuse to accept. Motivation doesn't last. It comes and goes like the weather. If you rely on it, you'll fail. Discipline, on the other hand, that's what builds empire. And the most disciplined people don't just hope for a good day, they create it. This is how the first 20 minutes belong to silence. No distractions, no inputs, just you and your thoughts. Most people can't handle this. Their minds race, they get uncomfortable. They reach for something, anything, to fill the space. But that's exactly why it works. Because in that silence, something rare happens. Clarity. When you strip away the noise, your mind starts to show you what matters. Problems become simpler. Solutions appear. Ideas you've been ignoring suddenly surface. This isn't magic, it's focus. And focus is the rarest currency in the world today. The next 20 minutes, this is where you feed your mind. Not with gossip, not with useless information, with wisdom. Words that lift you, not drag you down. Read something that makes you think, that challenges you, that plants seeds for the person you're becoming. Most people fill their minds with junk and wonder why they feel stuck. Don't be one of them. The final 20 minutes, this is where you write. Not vague goals, not wishes, plan exact steps. What will you do today to move forward? Not in 10 years, not someday, today. Most people have dreams. The ones who achieve them have plans. This isn't complicated, but it's not easy, because it requires something most people aren't willing to give. Consistency. No excuse. No I'll start tomorrow. Every day, the same ritual. Until it's not something you do, it's who you are. And that's when everything changes. 3. The mental diet rule. Your mind is not just a passive receiver of information. It is an active creator of your reality. Every thought you allow to take root, every idea you feed, grows and shapes the person you become. Most people don't realize this. They wake up and immediately flood their minds with whatever the world throws at them. Gossip, complaints, fear, endless chatter that does nothing but weaken them. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they lack focus, why their days seem to slip through their fingers without progress. Think of your mind like a garden. If you plant weeds, weeds will grow. If you plant seeds of strength, discipline, and clarity, that is what will flourish. The first hour of your day is not just about what you do, it's about what you allow in. Most people poison themselves before they even begin. They check the news, scroll through arguments, listen to complaints, absorb negativity, and then expect to have a productive, powerful day. It doesn't work that way. This is why the mental diet is non-negotiable. For this hour, nothing negative enters your mind. No news, no pointless debates, no draining conversations. Only what builds, only what strengthens, only what moves you forward. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about choosing which parts of reality you engage with first. You wouldn't start your day by drinking poison, yet most people do the mental equivalent every morning without thinking. Protect this space fiercely. The world will try to invade it. People will try to pull you into their chaos. But this hour is yours. Guard it like your future depends on it, because it does. The thoughts you'll feed yourself in these early moments set the tone for everything that follows. If you fill your mind with doubt, your actions will reflect that. If you fill it with purpose, your day will bend in that direction. This is not just theory, it is a law. The mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts at once. It cannot be both strong and weak, both focused and distracted, both determined and doubtful. You must choose, and the easiest way to choose is by controlling what enters in the first place. Most people never do this. They let their minds become battlegrounds for every passing thought, every outside influence. Then they wonder why they feel scattered, why they struggle to stay on course. Don't be one of them. Your mind is your greatest tool. Treat it that way. Feed it what makes it stronger and watch what happens. 4. The visualization secret. There is a difference between daydreaming and true visualization. Daydreaming is passive. It's wishing, hoping, imagining success without effort. True visualization is active. It is mental rehearsal, seeing not just the end result, but every step required to get there. Most people get this wrong. They picture the reward, but skip the work. They imagine success without struggle, and then when reality doesn't match the fantasy, they give up. Here's how to do it right. Close your eyes. See your future, not as a vague idea, but in absolute detail. See the actions you must take, the discipline you must have, the setbacks you will face. Feel the effort, feel the resistance, feel the moments when you'll want to quit, and then see yourself pushing through anyway. This is not about fantasy, it's about preparation. Your mind does not fully distinguish between imagination and reality when the visualization is done with intensity. When you rehearse success, truly rehearse it with all its challenges and demands, your brain begins to align your actions without force. You start making decisions that move you closer to what you've already seen in your mind. Opportunities become clearer. Obstacles feel smaller because you've already faced them before in your thoughts. This is why most people fail at their goals. They don't prepare their minds for what's coming. They want the result without the journey. But the journey is where strength is built. The journey is where most quit. If you can see yourself succeeding through the struggle, not just after it, you will be unstoppable. Do this daily, not for 5 seconds, for real focused time. See the steps, feel the effort. Train your mind to expect the work, not just the reward. Because when the time comes to act, you won't be surprised by the difficulty. You'll be ready for it. This is the secret of those who achieve extraordinary things. They don't just want success, they've already lived it in their minds, step by step. And when reality tests them, they don't falter, because they've been here before. 5. Turning time into allies, not enemies. Time is the great equalizer. Every person, no matter who they are, gets the same 24 hours each day. Yet some accomplish more in a week than others do in months. Why? The difference isn't in how much time they have, it's in how they use what they're given. Most people treat time like an enemy, something that's always slipping away from them. But those who achieve real success, they turn time into an ally, and it starts with this 1 hour. Think about how most people begin their days. They wake up already behind. They check messages, respond to demands, react to whatever comes at them first. By the time they finally start thinking about what they actually want to accomplish, half the day is gone. They spend their hours putting out fires instead of building anything lasting. This isn't living, it's surviving. And survival never created anything great. Now consider another way. What if, instead of letting the day happen to you, you happen to the day? What if you took this first hour, this golden untouched space, and used it not to react, but to command? This is where true power lies. Not in doing more, but in doing what matters. Not in filling every minute, but in choosing the right minutes to fill. The secret isn't complicated. Decide what matters first. Before the world tells you what to care about, before distractions creep in, make your choice. What will move you forward today? What deserves your best energy? Then, and this is crucial, say no to everything else. Every yes you give to something unimportant is a no to your future. Most people don't fail because they don't work hard. They fail because they work hard on the wrong things. This hour is your filter. It's where you separate what truly matters from what merely seems urgent. The busy person runs in circles. The effective person moves in one clear direction. Time doesn't change, how you use it does. Guard this hour, use it to set your course, and watch how the rest of your hours fall into line. 6. The 30-day test. Knowing what to do is one thing. Doing it is another. That's why there's only one way to prove this works. Try it. Not for a day. Not when you feel like it. For 30 straight days without exception. Guard this hour like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Here's how it works. For the next month, you wake up and claim this hour before anything else can take it from you. No checking messages. No distractions. No just this once exception. This hour belongs to your future self, and you protect it like the treasure it is. What will you notice? At first, maybe not much. Old habits will fight back. Your mind will resist the silence. Distractions will seem more appealing than discipline. This is normal. This is where most people quit. But if you push through, if you hold the line for 30 days, something remarkable happens. Your mind starts to change. Decisions become clearer. Focus comes easier. Opportunities you never noticed before begin to appear. Not because the world changed, because you did. When you consistently feed your mind with purpose instead of chaos, it begins to work differently. Problems look smaller. Solutions come faster. What once seemed impossible starts to feel within reach. This isn't magic. It's cause and effect. Master your mind, and your results must follow. It's not about hoping for change. It's about creating the conditions where change can't help but happen. 30 days is enough time to prove it to yourself. Not from a book, not from someone else's words, from your own experience. The challenge is simple. 1 hour every day. No excuse. The reward, a different life. Not someday, starting now. 7. When the world resists, and it will. The moment you decide to take control of your time, something predictable will happen. The world will push back. People won't understand why you're suddenly unavailable first thing in the morning. They'll call you selfish, extreme, even unreasonable. They'll interrupt you with urgent matters, demand your attention, make you feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. And here's the truth. That resistance is your confirmation. It's proof you're doing something right. Think about it. When was the last time anyone argued with you for wasting time? When did someone ever criticize you for scrolling mindlessly or sleeping in? Never. Because those habits don't threaten the status quo. But when you start guarding your time like it's sacred, when you start showing up differently, that's when the objections come. Not because you're wrong, because you're changing. And change makes people uncomfortable. Every person who ever achieved something extraordinary faced it. The difference between those who succeeded and those who gave up wasn't talent or luck. It was this. They refused to negotiate with their future. When others demanded their time, they said no. When guilt tried to pull them off course, they held firm. They understood that you can't build something meaningful while saying yes to everything. This hour isn't just about time management. It's about boundary setting. It's about deciding, once and for all, that some things are non-negotiable, that your growth matters more than someone else's convenience, that your future is worth protecting, even if it means disappointing people in the present. The resistance will come. Let it. Let it confirm that you're on the right path, and then keep going. The nightly reset. Most people end their days the same way they begin them, without intention. They collapse into bed exhausted, mind still racing from the day's chaos, only to wake up feeling just as tired. They don't realize that sleep isn't just rest. It's processing time. Your subconscious works while you sleep, sorting, solving, preparing. And what you feed it last before bed determines what it works on all night. This is why the last 10 minutes of your day matter just as much as the first hour. This is your chance to close the day with purpose, so you can wake up with clarity. Here's how it works. First, review the wins. What went right today? What progress did you make? Most people skip this step, rushing straight to what they didn't accomplish. But progress fuels more progress. Acknowledge it. Next, the lessons. What could you improve? Not self-criticism, cold, clear assessment. What worked? What didn't? What will you do differently tomorrow? Finally, the plan. Not a vague idea, specifics. What's the first thing you'll do tomorrow? What's the one task that, if completed, would make everything else easier? Write it down. This isn't just reflection, it's programming. You're giving your subconscious a blueprint instead of chaos. You're telling it what to work on overnight so you wake up with solutions instead of stress. Most people let their days bleed into each other in an endless cycle of reaction. You won't. You'll end each day with intention, so you can start the next one with power. 10 minutes. That's all it takes. But it changes everything. 9. From hour to habit to identity. At the beginning, it feels like work, setting the alarm earlier, sitting in silence when your mind begs for distraction, choosing the book over the easy entertainment, writing plans when you'd rather be doing anything else. This is the discipline phase, where every minute requires conscious effort, where you have to remind yourself why this matters, where the temptation to quit whispers constantly. But something happens around day 21. The resistance lessens. The ritual becomes familiar. What once felt forced starts to feel natural. You wake up and reach for your journal before you remember deciding to do so. The silence becomes comfortable instead of awkward. The reading feels like feeding yourself rather than homework. This is the habit phase, where the actions become ingrained, where they start to happen with less conscious effort. Then comes the transformation. One morning you realize something fundamental has changed. This isn't something you do anymore. It's who you are. The person who guards their morning hour isn't a role you're playing. It's your identity. You don't debate whether to do it any more than you debate whether to breathe. The thought of starting your day any other way seems foreign, incomprehensible. This is where true power lives. Not in forced discipline, but in effortless being. When the habits become so woven into your fabric that violating them would feel like betraying yourself. The person who controls their time doesn't do so through willpower at this stage. They do it because they can't imagine living any other way. The journey from discipline to identity follows the same path for every meaningful change. First, you do the thing. Then the thing does you. The morning hour stops being an activity and starts being a reflection of who you've become. 10. The one question to ask forever. All the techniques, all the rituals, all the discipline boil down to one simple question you must ask yourself every single day. Did I use my hour or did I waste it? Not did I have a productive day, Not did I accomplish everything, just this one pure measure, because everything else flows from this. The days you honor the hour are the days everything else falls into place. The days you sacrifice it are the days that slip through your fingers no matter how busy you were. This question becomes your compass. When you're tempted to sleep in, it whispers, will this hour be used or wasted? When distractions creep in, it asks, is this worth trading your future for? When others demand your time, it reminds, every yes to them is a no to yourself. The beautiful simplicity is that you always know the answer. No one can lie to themselves about whether they truly used that hour. It's the ultimate accountability. Not to a guru, not to a system, to yourself, to the person you're becoming. Years from now, you won't remember most of your days, but the sum of how you answered this question will have determined everything. The opportunities caught or missed, the potential realized or wasted, the life built or neglected. So ask it daily, let it guide you, and watch what happens when you consistently answer correctly. Did I use my hour or did I waste it? That's all that matters. This isn't theory, it's a law. Ignore it, and nothing changes. Apply it, and everything does. You don't need more time, you need this hour. The next 24 are just a test of whether you'll use it.